stood where her garden used to be, remembering summers gone by. She still hears the voice of someone she knew, who left when the first frost arrived. There on this green porch they'd watch through the night, the thunder and rain finally came. There with the rumble and flashes of light, hear that old tin roof sing. There where the garden spider weaves the intricate work of her life. There where the morning dove used to sing that song at the first sign of light. Maybe she'll stay for a couple of days, sort out what's new and what's used, toss out the toothbrushes, pack up the bags. She's really not sure what to do. She stood where her garden used to be, remembering summers gone by. With tears in her eyes, she watched the geese fly and whispered the words goodbye, and whispered the words goodbye. She stood where her garden used to be, remembering summers gone by. She still hears the voice of someone she knew, who left when the first frost arrived. She stood where her garden used to be, remembering summers gone by. She still hears the voice of someone she knew, who left when the first frost arrived. There on this green porch they'd watch through the night, the thunder and rain finally came. There with the rumble and Maybe she'll stay for a couple of days, sort out what's new and what's used. Toss out the toothbrushes, pack up the bags. She's really not sure what to do. She stood where her garden used to be, remembering summers gone by. With tears in her eyes, she watched the geese fly and whispered the words goodbye, and whispered the words goodbye. She stood where her garden used to be, remembering summers gone by. She still hears the voice of someone she knew, who left when the first frost arrived. She stood where her garden used to be, remembering summers gone by. She still hears the voice of someone she knew, who left when the first frost arrived. There on the screen porch they'd watch through the night. The thunder and rain finally came. There with the rumble and flashes of light, hear that old tin roof sing. There where the garden spider weaves the intricate work of her life. There where the morning dove used to sing that song at the first sign of light. Maybe she'll stay for a couple of days, sort out what's new and what's used. Toss out the toothbrushes, pack up the bags. She's really not sure what to do. stood where her garden used to be, remembering summers gone by. She still hears the voice of someone she knew, who left when the first frost arrived. She stood where her garden used to be, remembering summers gone by. She still hears the voice of someone she knew, who left when the first frost arrived. There on the screen porch they'd watch through the night, the thunder and rain finally came. There with the rumble and flashes of
Good morning.
hear that old tin roof
I was looking at my clock and thought, why are we starting late? Where's the service leader? And then I realized it's me. So we invite you to take your seats and prepare for this morning's service on behalf of the worship committee. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Columbia. I am Reverend Stephen, the minister here at the UUCC. Throughout the month of July, we've had a series of services provided by members of our congregation as a part of what we call UUCC Voices in July. And we have a chance to hear and learn from one another. Today, our guest speaker, and I referred to him as the Reverend John Farley. It didn't feel great about that when we said it. But we are so delighted that John Farley is our guest speaker today. John and Maura joined the UUCC in 2023, and they will celebrate 35 years of marriage later this summer. And they have 3 beautiful children that are spread around the world, it seems, most of the time. So we are so delighted when we get a chance to see all of them together. A little bit about John. You may know John as the chief meteorologist for ABC Columbia, WOLO. He's also been a chief meteorologist in San Francisco, California as well. He has a Master of Science in Meteorology from San Jose State University in 2000 and a graduate of the last decade College of Science, San Jose State University in 2001. He has a couple of awards to note, Excellence in Aviation Award from the FAA for a research team member, and he won an Emmy for the best weather person in Northern California, Nevada, and Hawaii. So we are so delighted for John to come and be able to share today. We are looking forward to it. This is a reminder to you that we do live stream our services. They are posted on our YouTube channel. If you'd prefer to not be on the camera up there, then you can sit over in the right area of the sanctuary, this alcove. We warmly welcome families with children and offer a place in the back if you have a child who would like to spend some time back there with them in that designated area. We are a congregation who welcomes and affirms everyone, and we are delighted to welcome all of our guests and visitors into this space. And we'd love to meet you if you are willing to stand and introduce yourself. Today, Ryan Kern is going to be bringing a microphone around. So if you're visiting with us and would be willing to just stand and say my name and where I'm from, we would love to have a chance to meet you. Any visitors would like to do that? one more right here.
My name is Sullivan Gleason. I go by Sully. I've been here in town. I've been back here in town about 15 years now. But I've kind of lived all over. I'm from Boston, but I lived in New York City most of my life. Lived in Alaska, lived in Florida, but I'm here caring for my elderly mom. Hey! It makes me want to sing. And we're looking for a church home, so I'm really happy to be here today. And thank you to everybody who's welcomed me.
All right. Welcome to everyone who is visiting and all who are with us today. And Sully, you basically just gave Anna the cue that you're ready to sing, right? That's all it takes. That's technically volunteered in our books. So thank you all for being here. And we will have a time of gathering afterwards in our social hall, opportunities for us to get to know you as well as you get to know some of our group here in this wonderful community. Today, our flowers are donated by Jane Gillespie, and we are so delighted to have this beautiful arrangement here. If you would like to be a part of the UUCC flower team, then please see Maura Farley. This time I invite you to silence all your devices as we center ourselves on today's service and hear our prelude.
Our prelude music for this morning is Elegy for the Arctic by Italian pianist and composer Ludovico Einaudi. He created this work in support of Greenpeace as he joined the organization's call for the international community to protect the Arctic from exploitation and climate change. He made a beautiful video of himself performing this piece on a platform in the water amidst the Arctic ice near the Svalbard Islands of Norway.
Thank you, Anna. I invite you at this time to please rise if you're able to join me in our congregational covenant. And it is printed in the order of our service just on the left side. Love is the doctrine of this congregation. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve others in community. Thus do we covenant with one another. You may be seated. As we begin our service in this space, we always light a chalice to recognize the sacredness of this time and in this community gathering together. Once a month, we are going to highlight new members of our congregation. And this month, we are celebrating Jeff and Manfred Simpson, and we're going to invite them to come and light our chalice for us today. And not set anything else on fire except for the chalice. Thank you. Spirit of light and life, come to us.
Our opening hymn is number 174, O Earth, You Are Surpassing Fair. I invite you to rise in body or spirit to join in singing.
Thank you. You may be seated. I invite our children to join me down front for our story for all ages. Morning. There it is. How are you all doing today? Good. I want to share not a whole book with you today, but because it's a little bit longer book, but we're going to have this book in the back for you a little bit later so that you can look at the whole book. But this is a book that's entitled Old Enough to Save the Planet. So how old do you think you have to be to work on saving the planet? Yep. Any age. Oh, that's a great answer. What do you think about that? Any age? Sometimes we think, man, I'm a little kid. What can I possibly do? So I want to introduce you to some folks who are real life children that are doing some great projects that you can read about and we can learn about, that are working on saving the planet. One is Felix from Germany, who is a passionate reforestation activist and creator of Plant for the Planet, who is 8 years old. We have Hunter from South Africa, who is 10, who campaigns for the protection of rhinos against the threat of poachers. Nikita from the Ukraine, who is 9, who is responsible for turning his school's food waste into compost. Wow. And then we have so many others that you can read about and learn, kids just like you all around the world that are your age that are making a difference in our world around us. Today, John, everybody say hey to John. Right there. John's going to be talking about some things that we can do to make our planet a better place and to invest in our planet. And I wanted you to know that you all, even at your age, can be a part of this good work. Thank you so much for coming down this morning. And if you will follow George, we'll dismiss you to your RE classes. Oh, yeah.
Learn your lesson well, my children. Seek your truth in the wide unknown. Love each other, work together, and search for wisdom and happiness.
Our opening words today come from Shirley Ann Rank and Jerry Kishbaugh Hildebrand. They're from their book entitled Pagan and Earth-Centered Voices in Unitarian Universalism. And this is an opening that is called Committed to Respond. Committed to respond to the call of a wounded world, we join together this day with loving hearts, hands, and minds, embracing the interconnected web of water, air, and earth. We light a fire of sustaining hope, ever bright with love and justice. May we bring forth this day new wisdom, strength, and courage to create a new world, not of wealth, but of well-being, a world of new peace and abundance for all. As we give thanks for this earth, our shared and singular home, may we dedicate ourselves to its ongoing care, rising to the calls deep within us and all around us. May we respond today and always with courage and with love. At this point in our service, we light candles of community, a time that we set apart to recognize that folks are here today with their heavy things on their heart, concerns that they need to share, and celebrations that need to be shared as well. We have candles that you can use to light, and we ask you, if you have a candle this morning, to come briefly share that joy or concern, and then place your candle here.
We are Linda and Richard McLeod, and we're lighting a candle of concern for our daughter-in-law, Heather Winters, and our son, Andy Winters. As a result of severe alcoholism, Heather is in a final stage liver failure. And as such, she has just completed a very intense process to qualify her to receive a liver transplant, which is her only hope for survival. The committee of medical specialists that are assigned to Heather's case will convene this week to decide if she will qualify for the liver transplant list. The time projected for the transplant was within 3 months, and she has spent the past month of this time with all the testing that is required. This testing includes extensive mental health screening, as well as every possible evaluation of her physical health to assure as much as possible that she will survive the transplant and maintain good health after the procedure. The rate of sobriety and successful recovery from the transplant and alcoholism is very encouraging, so we are hopeful for Heather. The hurdle now is for the transplant committee to approve her as a candidate for the list. We are asking for positive thoughts and prayers for Heather and for our son Andy, who is also a recovering alcoholic, and he is her primary caregiver. Thank you.
Well, this mic is available for joys as well as concerns. I'm Lee Mingy, and I'm lighting a joyful candle. 93 years ago, July 26, 1933, a baby boy was born to Paris and Pauline Mingy in London. Julian grew up spreading joy to all he knew, and I celebrate that birth 93 years ago today. In addition, I feel quite overwhelmed and joyful. Over the weekend, I took part in a dance showcase and was quite overwhelmed at the conclusion. My daughter and son-in-law were in town for this, but at the conclusion, I was presented with a bountiful bouquet of roses. I have never held 24 roses. It's delightful and heavy. And I think I was given this because I'm the oldest one standing at the studio.
Good morning, I'm Sharon Gibbons, and I've just returned from Germany and Transylvania, where I went on the Partner Church pilgrimage. And I would just like to follow up on what Lee was saying, recognizing Julian. We had a service, I think 2 weeks ago, but my weeks are really messed up, so I can't swear by that. But we went to the service of our partner church in Bistersi, and On the a credenza off to the side of the front of the church, there was a very nice portrait of Julian Mingy. And it was just lovely to see his portrait there.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
When I was coming in, this happens a lot. I had a lot of people look at me like, I know her. How do I know her? I'm here without my spouse, Candace Shalou, who fills in from time to time as my spouse. She's speaking at the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship in Charleston today, but I'm here. So thank you for welcoming me. My name is Beth DeHart. And I wanted to share something of a mixed joy, sorrow about friendship today. My best friend from embryonic times, her name was Susan Gregory. We grew up together. She was, as many of you could speak about your own friend, I'm sure, she was the best thing. She was the best thing. I lost her. We lost her. She transitioned a year ago on the 22nd of this month. She developed a glioblastoma and passed within about 8 months of finding out. And I've missed her a lot this week. Sorry. But I just wanted to say, friendship matters a lot, and I'm trying very hard these days not to take it for granted. So give a hug to a friend today. For Susan.
The last candle that we light represents our silent joys and concerns this morning. I invite you to take just a moment and a few deep breaths and remember all that's been shared. Thank you. As we prepare for our offering, my pleasure to say that this congregation proudly participates in the Michael Sullivan Share the Plate initiative, where half of our monthly cash collection is donated to a local charity. It's our way of giving back. This month's Share the Plate recipient is More Justice, and I'm delighted to welcome Sydney Gonzalez to share a little bit about the work of More Justice.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you all so much for having me here today. I think it's apt that I go after the candles, because what More Justice is founded in is those concerns, the ones that were voiced, but also the ones that we all sat privately with and maybe thought weren't important enough. Those are how we build community around what are the problems that are surfacing in our lives, but also across the community. Because oftentimes, if you're concerned about something, I promise you, 5 other people in the room are also concerned about it. And while maybe just me, Sydney Gonzalez, I can't solve climate change or the gun violence problem that is in Colombia or also everywhere. However, together, we can come together and ask people who do have the power to do something locally to do anything. We do a lot of research about what that anything could be, so we don't say, hey, fix it. We do kind of offer opportunities, and we try to look for what actual solutions could look like so that they're not just Band-Aids, you know? For a lot of people, that's what the solutions look like. It's like, oh, thank you so much for that $5 in SNAP benefits. That'll definitely feed my family of 4 this month. So what More Justice does is we try to bring people together who are concerned about the same things to research solutions that actually get to the roots of the problem. And then we ask our elected officials who have the power to implement these things to do so. That's the simple version of what it is. I recently had a person who this was her very first year being involved with More Justice, and I will admit there is a learning curve because it isn't always natural for everybody to be born as an activist or know exactly how to help in the way that they want to. They don't know how to make that impact. And I had this person who was involved for the first year, and she was like, it took me all year to figure this out, but I really appreciate this about More Justice, that you guys tell me what to do. Like, I want to do something, but I don't know what that something could be. I want to try to help, but I don't know where to direct my efforts, to direct my dollars, to who to talk to. And More Justice compiles all of that and tells you, show up on this day, and we're gonna talk to this person about this thing, and come to this so that we can research about what solutions we can do about X. And so it's a very hands-on problem. We are only local, and so most of our work is at the city or county level. These last 2 years, we finally stepped up to a state campaign, and just this year, we were passed a bill to, so for evictions, if you didn't know, if you get evicted, it is on your record forever in the state of South Carolina. So if you got evicted 15 years ago, that could be held against you today, even though you're not in that same financial position at all. And so we got a bill passed earlier this year that makes a cap for that. It's not perfect, it never is, but we created something that didn't even exist. Now, after 7 years, those records will be sealed. And so there's now eviction sealing in the state of South Carolina that wasn't there before. Like, isn't that so cool? And I could list so many other things. I mean, there is a mobile market in the city of Columbia that is now bringing food to food deserts that didn't have the opportunity before. There is an entire office at the City of Columbia that is working to address gun violence in our community. There, at the county level, we have gotten $4 million, and we're making real steps towards establishing an affordable housing trust fund so that we can actually have new units built so that they can be affordable. There's so many cool things that we get to do as More Justice, and I hope that one of those called to you, but also the beautiful thing is we get to pick new ones every single year, and whatever the new problems are, because it's never gonna be done. This community is never gonna be perfect. So More Justice will always be needed so that we can call each other to come together to do something about the problems that come alive. So thank you all so much for sharing both your time and your funds, and also I hope that one day I will get to know every single face in here as you become a member of More Justice, so that we can do some really cool work together in the community. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Sydney. It's our pleasure to be partners in the work of More Justice. Anna's going to introduce our offertory song.
I have a brief personal introduction as well as a bit of the history of this song. Just over a week ago, my son and I headed back from Michigan to South Carolina, and we left the state amidst the smoke of the Canadian wildfires. For days, feeling that difficulty of breathing, the red in the sky, the no playing outside. We drove for miles and miles through the state with constant smoke, feeling that dizziness of the breathing. And what struck me so much with a feeling I've never quite had in my adult life, seeing that smoke wipe out the blue of the sky across the entire state, having my son in the back seat, feeling the seriousness of that and thinking, if we cannot breathe and the blue of the sky is a memory, what else do we have? We came out of the smokes into Indiana, into lightning-filled torrential downpours. The fields on the side of the highway flooded, washing onto the roads, severe flash flood warnings, literally driving from the fires into the floods. Today, with the focus in our service, I feel personally even more called to do what I can, and for us as a country and as a world to do what we can to hear the earth's calling and know that we need to use our intelligence and our tools to live in better harmony for the future. And sharing that sentiment, today's offertory selection is The Seed, a song by Norwegian singer-songwriter Aurora, a plea to save the earth, to speak up for her, to live in harmony, and a warning against the destruction of greed. It takes inspiration from the indigenous Cree proverb, "When the last tree has fallen and the rivers are poisoned, you will realize you cannot eat money."
I invite our ushers to come and receive our offering.
Just like the seed, I don't know where to go. Through dirt and shadow I grow. I'm reaching light through the struggle. Just like the seed, I'm chasing the wonder. I unravel myself, all in slow motion. Oh, ah, oh, ah, oh, ah, oh, ah, oh, ah, oh, ah. You cannot eat money, oh no. You cannot eat money, oh no. When the last tree has fallen and the rivers are poisoned, you cannot eat money, oh no. Suffocate me so my tears can be rain. I will water the ground where I stand so the flowers can grow back again. 'Cause just like the seed, everyone wants to live. We are burning our fingers, but we learn and forgive. Oh, ah, oh, ah, oh, ah. You cannot eat money, oh no. You cannot eat money, oh no. When the last tree has fallen and the rivers are poisoned, you cannot eat money, oh no. Feed me sunlight, feed me air. Feed me truth and feed me prayer. Feed me sunlight, feed me air. Feed me truth and feed me prayers. Oh, ah, oh, ah, oh, ah, oh, ah, You cannot eat money, oh no. When the last tree is fallen and the rivers are poisoned, you cannot eat money, oh no.
Thank you, Anna. We receive our offering today, symbol of our commitment to our good work. It's my pleasure to welcome John Farley to share. The pen is in our hands.
Thank you, Anna. That was fabulous. The pen is in our hand, writing the next chapter in global warming. We do not inherit the earth from our ancestors, rather we borrow it from our children. That's attributed to a Native American proverb, but it makes the point. We'd like to walk gently on this planet so that we can leave it to future generations as untouched as possible. When we talk about climate change, it can be daunting. It's common for one to feel like, what's the point? Even if I do everything I can, if nobody else is doing anything, then it really won't make a difference. This can lead to something called eco-paralysis. It's the feeling of being completely overwhelmed by the scale of things and leading to a sense of helplessness where you feel unable to make a meaningful difference. I get it. I get it. I took my first climate class 32 years ago. Things are happening now that we thought maybe could happen. I get it. I understand these overwhelming feelings, but here's my suggestion. Let's work on it together, shall we? To start, I want to point out that because of recent collective actions of people and countries around the world, climate scientists have eliminated worst-case scenarios from their projections. They are now eliminated. This is excellent. This is a fabulous first step. Think about this. No more worst-case projections. This is the first time that has happened in my career as a scientist in this area. But, as we say, there's still plenty of work to do. So in order to make a plan of action, we have to have a basic understanding of climate change. The term is used interchangeably with global warming. Either way, the point is this: our planet is warming up quickly, and that's changing the climate. So let's give you Global Warming 101. Gases in the atmosphere trap heat. That's the Earth's greenhouse effect, which is natural, and we need it. So the gases trap the heat. Without it, the temperature of the globe, around the globe, would be 0 degrees Fahrenheit. We wouldn't be here. So needless to say, the greenhouse effect is a good thing. But as we know, sometimes too much of a good thing can be bad. In the last 250 years, the concentration of greenhouse gases has gone up a lot. So what's causing this? Well, it's you, it's you, it's you, and it's me. We are now burning, the primary reason for this is the burning of fossil fuels, which releases the gases into the atmosphere, and that is 75% of the problem. So fossil fuels, what are they? Coal, natural gas, oil. We're now burning 1,400 times the amount of fossil fuels that were burned in the 1770s. The result is a lot more heat-trapping gas. That's a big number. So what? The Earth is getting warmer. What's the issue? It's gone through warm and cool cycles naturally for billions of years. The issue is the speed that the temperature is changing. We're currently warming 20 to 50 times faster than what has happened naturally in the past. It's just too much, too fast, and that's what creates the problems. There were times in the Earth's history when the concentration of heat-trapping gases were a lot higher. There was no ice anywhere on the planet. Sea level was 250 feet higher. The average temperature was 20 degrees warmer than today, and life was flourishing. I mean, life everywhere. But this fact is not relevant to today's global warming. What's relevant is the speed. Ancient life had millions of years to adapt. Today, we're forcing those changes into decades. A rapidly warming planet is directly impacting us now, and those impacts are accelerating. In the 1980s, the US experienced 3, roughly, weather-related disasters annually that cost $1 billion. That's 3 annually. Fast forward to today. That's 20 events annually. And this is all adjusted for inflation, so we're comparing apples to apples. And to be clear, there are many factors that go into these weather-related disasters. More people, more stuff, more vulnerable. And scientifically, at this point, we cannot attribute a single storm to a warmer planet. That is, there have been hurricanes and wildfires for millions of years. But what we can say scientifically is that by rapidly heating the planet, we're stacking the deck for more frequent and more intense weather-related disasters. This heating impacts different parts of the country differently. Out west, it's wildfires. Here in the southeast, it's more often about a warmer ocean pumping more evaporated water into warmer air. Think of adding steroids to storms. The consequences are not theoretical. Many people in California and Florida cannot get insurance on their houses. Insurance companies are concluding that the risk is just too high. And remember, no insurance means that you can't get a mortgage to buy that house. Here in South Carolina, we are not insulated. In September 2024, Hurricane Helene came from an overheated Gulf of Mexico just before making landfall. It quickly strengthened from a Category 1 to a Category 4 storm. This type of rapid intensification is now happening at twice the rate it did 30 years ago. Because Helene was so much stronger at landfall, it carried a lot more water and it took a lot longer to finally weaken. The result was catastrophic. Helene killed 250 people. 49 of them were South Carolinians. The damage, $78 billion. To put that in comparison, that's 2.5 times more than Hugo. So what is the result of all these things? Higher deductibles, higher insurance premiums, higher utility bills. Remember that utility companies cannot get insurance for big storms. So when a big storm comes in and damages the grid, they fix the grid and then they pass the cost on to us. Global warming is not just supercharging storms for us, it's causing and will cause major economic disruptions for South Carolina. I'm going to name a few. Our fishing industry, peaches. Steve, you know we have more peaches than Georgia. Okay. We're second only to California. Coastal forestry and beach tourism, just to name a few. The economic impact of just these 4 industries in our state is well north of $20 billion annually, and that's to say nothing of the infrastructure costs that could be incurred in doing things like moving roads and building seawalls. What's causing sea level to rise? 2 things. Of all the heating, the ocean is absorbing about 90% of it. Warmer water expands, it takes up more space, there's nowhere to go but up. The second is that glaciers and ice caps are melting. The melting water goes into the ocean, it increases sea level. Okay, we get it. There's nothing we can do about the warming that's already occurred, but we can do something about the future. And I'm going to paraphrase Tony Robbins, where he says, I can make you do anything. Now, with that statement, I believe I'm the first person to ever paraphrase Tony Robbins at a UU service. Steve, can you confirm that? I would think that would be the case. I can make you do anything. Here's how. I'm going to show you that your child is in imminent danger. You will do anything. Please take a look at the picture on the front of your order of service. I chose this picture to talk about global warming. Why? Because we have choices that have consequences for those who will inherit this earth. These choices are both collective and individual. Both matter. And I'll start with an example of a collective choice. And might I just say that our state energy folks are well-intentioned, but off the mark. I'll explain. The South Carolina Public Utilities Commission has approved $7.5 billion to build 2 large natural gas power plants for our future electric needs. Remember what's heating the planet and raising sea level? It's burning fossil fuels like natural gas. This is the same natural gas that burns in gas stoves, gas logs, gas heaters. It's the blue flame. Gas-powered plants will lock us in for another 30 years of digging and burning. But what if instead we use that money for solar and batteries and we make our system more efficient? let's consider a few things. Right now, Charleston is looking at a $2 billion plan to build a seawall to keep the rising water out. But the state is looking to spend $7.5 billion to ensure that indeed we make a significant contribution to that rising water. Anybody see the irony here? Here's another very salient observation. Solar combined with batteries is now the cheapest form of creating electricity in the world. Yes, you heard that right. It's cheaper than natural gas, and this is without factoring all the other huge indirect costs associated with burning gas, like weather-related disasters, defending shipping lanes, etc. Remember, there is zero ongoing fuel costs with solar. Sunlight is free forever. Here's some perspective. The land required to power our entire state with solar would be roughly the equivalent of Lexington County. Now, that's the whole state. We already have some existing power in place, and I'll get to that in a minute. But the entire state, Lexington County. And it turns out that we have a perfect solution for that. It's called agrovoltaics. That is, we have a lot of farmland here. And we have a lot of farmland that is close to transmission lines. So what do? You place solar panels directly over the fields where the crops are growing. This approach gives protective benefits to the plants while adding revenue to the farmer's bottom line by combining solar to our more than abundant farmland near existing transmission lines with rooftop solar and backing it up with battery. We can fully cover our state's energy needs and stop adding global warming gases to the atmosphere. Yes, there are energy details to be worked out, engineering details to be worked out, but nothing is insurmountable. Look at California, the 5th largest economy in the world, and they use a lot more energy than we do. This year, they've averaged 5.4 hours a day of electricity coming from only renewable sources. And their excess solar at noon is powering a massive battery fleet that kicks in later in the day, pushing out enough stored sunlight to cover 44% of the entire state's electricity demand in the evening. The technology isn't coming tomorrow. It's right here, right now, and it is booming. We have plenty of viable solutions. We just need to infuse the decision makers with, shall we say, a bit more insight. Now let's talk about individual choices. There's a lot we can do here. One's individual contribution to global warming is often referred to as a carbon footprint. So let's cover a couple of areas. Transportation. That accounts for between 25 and 50% of someone's carbon footprint. Cars. Let's look at gas-powered cars. Every gallon of gas that is burned pumps 19 pounds per gallon of invisible heat-trapping gas out the tailpipe and into the atmosphere. Every gallon. So it's pretty important for us to minimize this impact. Toward that end, I got an electric car a year ago. And over this year, I charged my car at home by plugging it into an outlet at my house where I get my electricity from my utility company. Now, before I give you the entire analysis here, I do want to point out that my utility company has probably the lowest rates in the state. But even when you do the math on everybody else's, they're pretty low. That is, I charge my car in the middle of the night, okay? Just that simple step has reduced that part of my carbon footprint by 80%. You may not know it, but presently more than half of the electricity generated in South Carolina comes from nuclear, which nuclear has its own issues, certainly. But operating a nuclear power plant does not produce greenhouse gases. That's because you're not burning anything at a nuclear plant. That means that already half of the electricity in South Carolina currently is not adding greenhouse gases to the air. I did the math on my fuel costs, and the fuel for my electricity, for my car, the fuel to fuel my car compared to a gas-powered car is 1/6 the price. Other things that you save money on with an electric car is you don't have to fuss with things like oil changes, spark plugs, belts, transmissions, etc. A general rule of thumb is that you save about $1,000 a year in maintenance cost on an electric car versus a gas-powered car. So, what was my savings in the last year? $4,300. That said, I do more driving than the average person. I drive about 30,000 miles. People are like, where's he going? But even if you drive half of that, you're still going to save $2,100 per year. And if you own a car for 10 years, that's somewhere between $21,000 and $43,000. I've heard many people say, I can't afford an electric car. Now, I'm no genius, but when I do the math, I don't know anyone who can afford not to go electric on their next car. Over the past many years, the original price of electric cars has been higher than gas-powered cars. That is definitely true, but the difference is coming down quickly. In 2026, the average new electric car costs $6,000 more than the average gas-powered car. In used cars, the average price is only $1,000 more. So when you factor in everything, over many years, an electric car is now a lot cheaper. People also make the observation that there are inconveniences on long trips. I made 7 reasonably long trips in the past year. Yes, it took longer to fuel my car those days when I was not at my house, but I never go to the gas station in a normal week. And what I do is when I get home, I plug in my car, and including the time it takes me to plug it in and unplug it, it takes 30 seconds a day. So the total amount of time I spend fueling my car over the last year, including my long trips, is a lot lower than a gas car. Presently, electric car owners like me don't pay what we owe in road taxes. That is, that road taxes are paid for each gallon of gas that is purchased. There's a surcharge, okay? When that catches up to me, I'll owe $325 a year. I'm still way ahead of the game. So this is maybe the no-brainer of no-brainers when it comes to your pocketbook and from your carbon footprint point of view. Okay, hybrid cars. Hybrid cars are considered a middle ground for this. For comparison, a hybrid car would have reduced my carbon footprint by 30% as compared to 80, and the annual savings would have been $2,000 as compared to $4,300. In both cases, you're still significantly ahead of a regular gas car. All right, we're gonna shift out of cars, transportation, into other things we can do. Low carbon diet. Food accounts for between 20 and 30% of global emissions, and the biggest contributor is livestock. Yeah. Beef is the worst. There's no way around it. Cows take up a lot of land. Land use is important. We want to keep as many trees in place as we can because trees extract greenhouse gases from the air. Feeding a person on a standard U.S. diet uses over 3 acres a year. That's of cleared land. A vegan diet uses about 80% less. A vegetarian diet uses about 70% less. And I think some of you have heard that cows fart. But that's not the biggest problem. They burp more than they fart. In the US, methane from cows is the second source of methane pollution in the atmosphere, second only to natural gas. In summary, eating beef, really bad. Being vegan is the most eco-friendly thing you can do. Being a vegetarian is the next best thing. And the third best thing you can do is avoid beef and cut down on how much meat you consume. Generally, eat more plants, and those approaches help the environment a lot. Now, it's not a secret as well that eating a lot of vegetables, fruits, nuts, legumes, etc. is better for our health than anything else we can eat. Finally, reduce food waste. That's a much bigger player here than you might have thought. Food waste creates a bunch of methane. So the idea is just make and buy what you need. So, the order of most to least harmful in terms of meat: beef, pork, chicken, farm salmon, wild salmon, and by the way, if you're a hunter, this is for you. Hunting deer is about the most eco-friendly thing you can do. You don't have to become a vegan or a vegetarian to make differences. Dietary changes are very powerful because they are repeated every day, and small shifts create large results. Okay, next thing, improve home energy use and efficiency. In-home electricity use covers or accounts for about 30% of one's carbon footprint. So what to do? When it comes time to replace your appliances, move from gas to electric and go to high efficiency. Here's an example. A few years ago, our gas water heater needed to be replaced. We went with the highest efficiency electric one we could find. Now, compared to a standard electric water heater, it was $1,800 more. However, we saved $600 a year in electricity. So you do the math, it's paid for itself in 3 years, and every year going forward, we are $600 to the good. Another item you may not have considered is a smart thermostat. That can reduce your heating and cooling costs by 15%. That's a significant number. Home energy is continuous every hour, every day. Efficiency improvements compound over time, making this one of the most reliable ways to reduce emissions. Here's another thing. Go solar wherever you can. Many folks here have installed solar in their homes. My business partner installed solar on the roof of our building. The bottom line on these installations is this. The payoff time ranges from about 5 to 9 years. After that, you get free electricity for the life of the system, which can be a very long time. Solar panels that were manufactured in the 1970s are still producing 75% of what they did on the day they were born. That's a lot of years of free electricity. Recently, my HOA approved solar panels for my roof. It took 7 years, but it's here. And South Carolina still has one of the most generous tax credits in the US for installing solar on your house. So where do we go from here? The future's not written. Sometimes people like to talk about global warming as if it's a boulder rolling down a hill that we can't stop. That's not true. Not true at all. Clearly, we cannot undo the warming that has already happened, but we can absolutely influence how much more warming occurs. Large-scale policy changes matter enormously. There are places in the world where they are aggressively tackling this problem head-on and saving a ton of money in the process. Guess who's leading the world in renewable transition? China. China is outspending the rest of the world combined. And they're making a bunch of money doing it, by the way. If we installed renewable systems as quickly as China, it would take us 2 months to power all of South Carolina. All over the world, countries are picking up the pace. Spain, Germany, Portugal, Pakistan, India, South Korea, Vietnam, the Philippines. It's a global revolution, people. Even in our country, the recent federal policies have tried to stop sustainable energy initiatives. But despite their best efforts, 2 months ago, right here in the US, solar eclipsed coal for electric generation. Globally, 87% of new energy installations in the past year came from renewables. So what I'm here to say is, happily, renewable energy is here to stay, growing fast, and there is no going back. As individuals, we have real power because individual choices add up across millions of households. Here's one situation that we touched on, rising sea level. Sea level is about a foot higher than it was 100 years ago. It's a foot higher. But where are we going to be in 75 years? Oh, that's up to us both individually and collectively. By 2100, sea level will rise to a somewhat manageable 2 feet if we act aggressively. Or it'll rise a catastrophic 7 feet if we keep doing what we're doing. The choice is ours. We know what we need to do to shape the world our children and grandchildren will inherit. Yes, we know what the dangers are. But the math shows that solutions are available that are not only affordable, but actually cheaper right now. This is not tomorrow, this is today. Tony Robbins was right when he said someone we love is in imminent danger, we don't look for excuses. We find a way. I invite you to look one more time at your order of service. Let it remind us all, we're not passive characters in a tragic book. We are the authors. We know what to write in the next chapters. A sustainable future is not only good for the planet, it's good for us. Our children will be reading the next chapters for decades to come. Together, let's grab the pen and show them how much we love them.
Our closing song is in the insert in your order of service, Keepers of the Earth. I invite you to rise in body or spirit to join in singing. You'll see words for the first verse printed, and then in the following verses, we repeat with the word river replaced by mountain, forest, and ocean. We are blessed by every river. Every river makes us whole with its riches and its beauty. Every river feeds our soul, and we are called as keepers of the earth. We are called to speak its sacred word for our children and our children's children. We are called as keepers of the earth. Mountain. We are blessed by every mountain. Every mountain makes us whole with its riches and its beauty. Every mountain every ocean. We are blessed by every ocean, every ocean makes us whole with its riches and its beauty. Every ocean feeds our soul, and we are called as keepers of the earth. We are called to speak its sacred word for our children and our children's children. We are called as keepers of the earth.
Our closing words come from the Lorax. Unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot, nothing is going to get better. It's not.
I invite you to join in singing our congregational benediction.
Just have one quick announcement. The annual Paulinciaga, I did it. We pronounced it correctly. The annual Paulinciaga Fashion and Dog Show, which aims to get shelter dogs adopted, will be held at the UUC in the afternoon of Saturday, October 10th, a rain date of the 17th of October. Even if you already have a dog or are simply not interested in adopting, you're still welcome and encouraged to attend. It's a fun event where local models wear designs from local designers while walking dogs from local animal shelters down the runway. Also, it's for a good cause. All the proceeds go to the participating animal shelters and to the church. You can see the e-blast for the link to purchase tickets or contribute via other means, or you can purchase tickets at the door. If you have any questions, you can speak with Blake Carlton or email him at blakecarlton@gmail.com. That is our announcements. As we bring our service to a close, I want to thank Anna for the wonderful music, and of course, John, just wow. Thank you for thank you for bringing your expertise on this topic and also your passion and compassion for the work and inspiring us even better than Tony Robbins did. If you're visiting with us today, please stick around and give us a chance to get to know you in our social hour and for you to have a chance to get to know this great community as well. And you'll probably head toward membership, right? If you do that. So thank you all for being here today.